Good morning, class. My name is Miss Sunshine Winterbottom, and I will be your teacher for the next year. I also happen to be your principal. Let's take a look at my name. Okay, so it's Miss Sunshine Winterbottom. Yes? Okay, good. Miss Winterbottom to you. Okay, so let's head into some letters. C, very good. B, wonderful. D, I just love this class. Yes, Ada? Yes? What? Your B looks like a D and your C looks like an F? Aiden, we don't play around in this class, okay? It's work time. What do you mean you keep seeing it like that? Aiden, are you stupid or are you pretending to be stupid? Because if that's the case, you need to leave my class right now. Out! Now! Okay, class, let's get back to it. Children of the Future School, Miss Winterbottom speaking. Oh, hello, Mrs. Foreman. Yes, good afternoon. How are you? Yes, it was a busy day today. Yes, you're calling to talk about Aiden? Fantastic. Okay, yes, so he has, what, ADHD? ADHD. Okay, well, Mrs. Foreman, here's the thing. I think with my experience and with all the years I've been doing this, okay, I really think you need to find another school because I don't do special ed. Yes. No. We don't do special ed. Thank you. And no, don't send them tomorrow. Okay. Yes, you can get a refund. Okay. Bye.
Action.
Okay, Daddy. A classic example of a physical disability is somebody who is in a wheelchair.
Okay.
All right. So, Carrie, let me ask you. So, based on what you just said about your work with the schools, do you think then that we do need to be looking across Trinidad and Tobago at doing more teacher training? Because although teachers may be trained to deal specifically with typically developing children, the fact is the statistics are showing that the numbers of children with learning and behavioral disorders are increasing. So then, should teachers be trained more, just in your opinion, to be better able to zone in on these kids and say, you know what, maybe this is not just a behavioral issue with the child or a psychological issue. Maybe it is an actual learning disability. Do you think?
Well, the good thing is that we now have a wide range of programs that are available locally. There are a wide variety, but not necessarily a lot of them. But the tertiary institutions who are delivering education courses now have the option for special education as a major, that teachers who are doing education, whether it be at the degree level, bachelor's level, certificate level, or the master's level, have that option to specialize in. So that's the advantage. There are also integrations now in regular education teaching programs of small aspects of special education. So even if you're not majoring in special education, there are opportunities for you to still be exposed to special education strategies and so on. It doesn't always equate to enough training necessarily, but to me it at least opens the door for that opportunity so that in the event that they choose to go further, they have that option. I know that the ministry from time to time and other private entities, they do bring in individuals that do seminars, training events, and so on. So the increase in education is definitely there on the horizon. We're going to see more of it, I think, as time evolves. And there are lots of online courses and certificates. Online courses are good. They're not ideal because you don't get that one-on-one, but I still think it's an gateway. It's a gateway that allows individuals who are interested to begin to explore areas of special education, even if they're trained in what we call regular ed.
Any closing words for parents? Because we know that there are children who also are in typical schools. They have behavioral disorders, social integration disorders, and they need to be medicated. Yeah. So what do we tell parents about their children who are facing learning difficulties? Because there are parents, who will automatically think that the child is just stupid or they're just behaving badly. But it's not just that. So what do we say to those parents to encourage them to take positive steps toward helping that child in any way that's possible to help the child?
Well, the first thing is, I would say, professional intervention. Medication is usually a last resort in many cases, but the good thing is that it exists, and that's really a positive. Now, many parents are totally opposed to medication. Some professionals are opposed to medication, but as I said before, it's really a last resort, but we have found it to be very beneficial, especially in the cases of ADHD or attention deficit hyperactivity disorders, because one of the things we now know is that it's a physiological problem. It's something that occurs in the brain. It has to do with chemicals in your brain, and it has to do with the input and the output. It's not a case where a child necessarily chooses that they're going to misbehave, they're not going to pay attention. They really just can't help it. So one of the things we usually do after the professional diagnosis from whether it be pediatrician, psychologist, or neurologist, the first thing we look at is we try to provide the child with strategies that they can employ themselves, self-monitoring strategies. And then we combine that frequently with reinforcement and rewards and consequences. Rewards go a very far way. We find that both parents and teachers are more likely to punish or apply a consequence than reward to reinforce. And so I would say, once you've had your professional evaluation done and you have looked at all the other possibilities of your self-monitoring strategies and your rewards and consequences, then the next thing we do is we move on to, if it is absolutely necessary to do medication, by all means explore it. Like everything else, there are advantages and disadvantages, but the advantages and pros usually far outweigh the cons. And it doesn't have to be a permanent situation. Sometimes you can have the intervention, pharmacological intervention, on a short-term basis, and then with monitoring and so on over time, there's usually adaptation to that process, and then the self-monitoring skills strengthen, and the rewards strengthen, and then sometimes eventually the pharmaceutical intervention can be decreased and eventually stopped altogether.
Sounds good, Carrie. Thank you.
Teachers, we know that not every teacher is like Miss Winterbottom, but we have come across a few who are. Discrimination is not nice. The only difference between a typical child and a child with a disability is opportunity. Education allows every child the opportunity to live a better life in the future. A child with special needs or disabilities is absolutely no different than any other child. The only thing that makes them different is the lack of opportunities. We know that our system is not perfect, that you work with crowded classrooms and not enough training to help you cope with dealing with children with disabilities. But there are people who can help. And all we ask is for you to be open-minded enough to work with us. We hope that these videos have been helpful to you as you, parents and teachers, navigate our very flawed educational system. If there are any particular topics you feel you'd like us to cover, feel free to reach out to us at causeandeffecttt@gmail.com or hit us up on our Facebook inbox. Don't forget to like and share our Facebook pages, Cause and Effect, a very special disabilities forum, and you can like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Cause and Effect TT. Until I see you again, keep the faith.